I looked at this news and I was like, man, you know what? This is video worthy. To me, it was video worthy because, like a lot of you, I'm sure you're thinking similar thoughts when I first saw this and read the title, and I was like, wait, what? Sony is doing what? Naughty Dog is doing what? I seen this on Twitter. Bloomberg is reporting, link in the description, that Sony and Naughty Dog are at work on The Last of Us remake. You heard me correctly. The Last of Us remake, not another remaster. We already had that on PS4. I still think The Last of Us looks really good. I think the visuals hold up. Now, obviously, Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us 2 look better, as they should. The engine has improved. They were able to do more on the PlayStation 4, but I don't think The Last of Us looks bad at all. I still think compared to many games, it looks really, really good. I wouldn't say, me personally, I wouldn't say that it looks heavily dated, but that is just me. I am a fan of this IP. I prefer some of the other IPs in their catalog, but I am a fan of this IP. So outside of the money, because we all know that's the driving force behind many, if not all of these decisions, the number one driving force, outside of the money, I don't understand this decision. And I think one thing that plays a big part of it, and it's just totally my opinion, it is totally my take. I don't ask anyone else to go along with me or buy into it. Some of you may already feel the same way, but I feel like after The Last of Us, all the success, the sales, the acclaim, the awards, everything that they received, well deserved for the game in so many ways. Many people will disagree, and everyone has their own opinion. But after that game, I really feel like the whole viewpoint, the whole like landscape and just outlook of the way Sony wanted to develop some of their games changed. And I think you can see that in some of their IPs that have come out after The Last of Us. Again, just my take. It is my opinion. And I'm, for better or for worse, depending on who you are, you may enjoy The Last of Us and how it's influenced some of those other games, in my opinion. But, you know, it's not a terrible decision from a financial standpoint. It will probably help sell a few PlayStation 5s. People love this game even more than the second game. You know, the show's going to come out. That's going to be a big deal. I hope it does well for HBO. I hope it means even bigger things for Sony and, you know, just the Last of Us IP in general there for Naughty Dog. No doubt, you know, just gaining popularity left and right, which is all great. But it gets better, and there is some bias here because I do prefer the Uncharted games, but this report gets better because they talk about how initially they were going to go with Uncharted Drake's Fortune and remake that, quite a bit older than the original Last of Us that's only 7 to 8 years old. I want to see that. I don't even care if that remake has visuals of Uncharted 4 or The Last of Us 2, because the engine, the in-house engine that they use and they've used for quite some time, has improved so much. Just to see Uncharted Drake's Fortune remade on, you know, with those visuals, the improvements in the sound and you know, voice acting and everything would be very special to me, because that's still one of my favorite games from last generation. I would have preferred that. Why didn't they go that route? I guess because The Last of Us is the bigger deal. You know, there's no denying that, even though, you know, I said I prefer Uncharted, but at this point, I think more people are familiar with The Last of Us name than, you know, Uncharted Drake's Fortune. So in some ways, this is kind of disappointing. You know, I feel like it's a really big missed opportunity, and I guess Sony could still remake it at some point, and I would prefer that they didn't put Naughty Dog on it. I mean, and that's another thing too that we should talk about here. And I think even the biggest diehard of Sony fans would say, hey, I'm really excited about this. It's cool that we're going to get this remake, and it's probably going to be built from the ground up on PlayStation 5 and, you know, possibly stay exclusive to the PlayStation 5 and never come to PC or anything else. But man, they would say to themselves, the talent at Naughty Dog, I would prefer that they made a Last of Us 3 if they're going to continue with The Last of Us, or, you know, a whole new IP or something. Like, let them move on from the original game. You know, I just, the game's, it's not even a decade old, people. Now, by the time this remake comes out, it may be like the 10-year anniversary or something of the game, or close to it, and, you know, that can be like a whole selling point. And I'm sure that could be, you know, in the works. I'm sure it's been discussed to possibly get this finished around the 10-year anniversary. But I want to see what Naughty Dog is going to do next. I would like to see a whole new IP from them, move on from Uncharted, move on from The Last of Us, maybe give those games a break. But yeah, I mean, I'll play more Last of Us, I'll play more Uncharted because it's Naughty Dog making these games, but I would prefer that they move on, and I think many of you down in the comment section will agree with me. Some of you won't, but I mean, some of you will. Almost immediately after reading this, I had a little joke on Twitter or something. I said something like, my sources at justtrustmeman.com have also informed me that Sony plans to remake Killzone Shadowfall and Little Big Planet 3. Just messing around because, those games aren't terribly old either. And it's just like, man, out of all the games, yeah, The Last of Us is a huge deal for you. It's one of the best games, most awarded games of all time that Sony has ever made. But like, we could go back and say, hey, check this out. I'm going to get people really excited for absolutely nothing because it's not going to happen. But if you're going to, go back and not go back too far, why can't we get a God of War 3 remake? How about that? And change nothing but the visuals and like improve the sound, maybe tighten up the gameplay just a little bit where need be, no bugs, no glitches, anything like that. Imagine what they could do with that game on the PlayStation 5 built from the ground up, or a remake for that. Or how about this? I'm really going to get people excited now. The original Infamous or like Infamous 2 or something, remakes for those games. I mean, I'm saying, like, those would be really, really cool. Sony, if we can't get remakes for the Infamous games, can we at least get, like, remasters? Just touch up the visuals and improve frame rates a little bit? Something, please, on the PS4, PS5, anywhere? Resistance. Like, I'm not a big Resistance guy. I never really got into those games, but people have been asking for Resistance remasters and, touching up the first two games especially for a long time. Why can't we get a remake of those games, or at least the first game? It just doesn't make any sense outside of the money and the popularity contest. But people have been asking for these games. It's not like Sony doesn't know. It's like people asking for, remakes of Silent Hill or Silent Hill 2 from Konami forever, and we know that that's likely not to happen either. But, I never say never with some of this stuff. I don't mean to get people excited for, an Infamous remake or a Resistance remake or something, but Last of Us, not even 10 years old. Come on, Sony. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Link for this in the description. You guys have a good one. Take care. Peace.